Evening and welcome to the Accendo Trader Group. This is our stock market wrap-up for Monday, November 9th, 2009. Our website is blog.accendotrader.com, where we put together effective video technical analysis trading plans on a daily basis. When we talk about our trading plan, they have basic steps to help us prepare for the trade, but what's different about our weekend trading plans is now we got to look at upgrades and downgrades, earnings, and different things that, again, affected the market today and can affect the market tomorrow. And as always, having a trading plan allows you to focus, be disciplined, and spend time with your family. So, the market that was today. In the end, we had the stock market making new highs for 2009. Now, I guess that sounds great from one's perspective. I guess if you can ignore or forget where we were back in 2008, but it is certainly good, especially when a week ago there was concerns that we were going to go down and test the March lows because we had come down and tested the 50 moving average. And a lot of the up move from last week was on lower volume. It was nice to see that we still made newer highs. What was our catalyst today? Well, first and foremost, we had some news coming out over in Asia, but also the G20 meeting met this week and the dollar dropped a base. We've been talking about this for weeks, that there's a direct correlation with the dollar and the market. A couple years ago, it was whatever oil did, the market did the opposite. So right now, whatever the dollar is doing, the market does the opposite. And the dollar lost ground today, dropped to 2000 lows when it came out from the G20 meeting that they still believe in economic stimulus and that we should not lighten or lower that stimulus. Also, there was some news about Kraft trying to buy Cadbury and that it's failing at the current time. But it was just, again, really nice to see the market take off. All of our major sectors ended up in positive territory. You can see the Dow was up 200, S&P up 23, and NASDAQ up 41. On the earnings calendar, there really wasn't nothing today. Priceline is somewhat of a major company, and they beat their expectation after the bell. Don't really expect that to move the market. As far as upgrades, what's interesting, and I'm going to put the downgrades here, is that, as we know, on last Friday, the Motorola Droid, Verizon Droid, the quote-unquote iPhone killer, as many of them have stepped up to the plate to be an iPhone killer, the Droid is the next one. And so they got an upgrade on Motorola, which is also probably the death of the Palm Pre, but that's another conversation. And then with that correlation with the Motorola, we have RIM being downgraded. And what's funny about that is that RIM has announced some new BlackBerry storms, and but the Droid really has taken the limelight. So tomorrow, nothing. We don't have any news until the 12th of November. On earnings front, there's really nothing going on tomorrow. And we really don't have a split that we're playing. So let's go ahead and take a moment and look at the charts. So look at that. Pretty nice, huh? Very nice candle. As I talked about, when we had our move up here off the test of the 50 moving average, you can see that the volume decreased. But with today's move, we did get an increase in volume. Now, not tremendous volume, but it is an uptick in the volume compared to the end of last week. When we go to our long-term view, you can see that we are still well above our 100 moving average. Switching over to the NASDAQ. You can see that we did actually violate the 50 moving average. Volume not as impressive today compared to, again, what we've seen in the past, but it is an uptick in volume. And we have come up and we're testing the swing high. Again, looking at our long-term view, you can see that we bounced at the 500 moving average, which also held up in our last pullback. Now we'll switch over to the S&P 500, and then we'll look at the monthly view. S&P 500 did violate the 500, moving up here on a swing high to test of past highs. And again, dropping volume and increase today, but not as much as before. Now let's switch over to the monthly chart. And you can see here we are headed back to the 50 moving average. Now, both in September and October, we try to clear the 20 moving average. We try to go up, and we've always kind of had a pullback towards the end of the month. So it'll be interesting to see if we can hold up. Switching over to the Dow. Same thing, heading up to the 50 moving average. Like to see the uptick in volume for September, October, and November. But again, we tested it, but we always seem to have a closing week of the month. So hopefully we can hold that up. Same thing here with the NASDAQ, that we're actually above the 50 moving average, but now we're kind of consolidating sideways. And actually, if we pull up our little axis here, you can kind of see where are we. We're kind of hanging on here at resistance right now, and if we can break there, certainly we can test 24, 2500, maybe 23, 2400, somewhere in that range. But right now we're sitting at the June of 08 lows. As we look at the internals of today's action, and you can see that we had, again, with last week with the volume going down, we had some wishy-washy days as far as internal breadth, except for Thursday. And obviously today we certainly had a bullish breadth, and you can see the volume picking up compared to Friday. Still trying to catch up to the Monday and Friday of last week. We do have stocks once again making new highs. If you remember what we were talking about, we started having our new highs going down, and we started seeing the new lows starting to catch up to the new highs. So we had a huge day with our new highs and new lows today. As we go to the educational portion of our video, I think today's topic from Mark Douglas' book, Trading in the Zone, really goes good with what's happened over the past couple weeks. And that is, the market's most fundamental characteristic is that it can express itself in an almost infinite combination of ways. In other words, anything can happen. The market can do virtually anything at any time. And that's one of the things we put in the Dave Elliott chat room on Thinkorswim platform, which is free, is ACH, anything can happen. And the market went down. We're up on lighter volume and up today, but we went up 200 points today. Yes, there was this G20 news. Yes, there was a correlation of the dollar in the market. But in simple forms, we really didn't have a lot of news to build the market. Yet we went up 200 points. Why? Because the market decided to express itself. Traders' sentiment decided to express itself, and we decided to go up 200 points. If traders would start taking that in consideration and not get so tied into their chart patterns and not too tied into their indicators, saying that we were going to go down, we would have fewer losses. We'd have more winners. I was sharing with a friend of mine that all these gurus, most of them like the same indicators. They just have their own little numbers they like to use. But in the end, if you don't have a system in place that adjusts to the current market conditions, as in up 200, then you will lose all your money because you're going to get caught short. So you have to be able to adjust to what the market is giving you and understand that the market will give you anything at any time. So I want to share our partners. First of all, we've got a trading chat room that I'm in. It's not my chat room, but it's the room that I participate in. AccendoTraders.com/trading.html. At this point you want to pause. Great room, haven't lost money. Great futures, E-minis trading room. Alex is leading the room. Great leader. Always making us profitable. They got this great 10-day trial access that you will be able to make plenty of money to stay in the room. And our futures broker, I have a great series on YouTube right now and on our blog about why you should get into futures as your investment vehicle. As we continue to come on in because we haven't finished, so join the discussion. But this broker has minis as far as intraday margin as low as $300. Talk about leverage. More importantly, if you join through this link, you can get 20 free contracts. Jumpstart your trading week with me at 8 o'clock on Sundays at our chat room. Help you get started, see what's coming down the pipe. And get our daily podcast. Get our alerts on Twitter. Trade at your own risk. I will see you tomorrow.